Yo, what's up guys, Gray here, and today we've got our week 7 battle of the BBR against MarioBee and his Rolle Street Rillabooms. And my opponent actually took over this team, so he took over from Dr. Slacking, our good friend, Matt. Unfortunately he had to go and do his PhD, which is way more important than Mons. But sadly we don't get to face Matt one last time before he was going to retire after this season. But we don't get to face him before he retires, unfortunately. However, Mario has come in and taken over the team, and he has gone kind of crazy with it. He was 3-1 when he took over. He has played 2 games, and he has won 2 games. So, yeah, he's on a bit of a roll. The team is obviously very good, as to expected, kind of from a Matt draft. Matt, for those who don't know, is a very good battler. He won GDL, he's won other stuff. I'm pretty sure he's won other championships, I just can't think. But in recent memory, he won GDL. And yeah, so he's a very good battler, very good drafter. And he drafted his team. Mario came in, made a few changes, but the team's still super, super scary. And yeah, before we get into the team builder, make sure to go check out my opponent. His link will be down in the description below, as well as all the other coaches in the BBR this season. My headset has decided to die. Let me just reset that. There we go, we're good. Yeah, let's get into the team. So, his team is Aegislash, Hydreigon, Terrakion, Landorus Incarnate, Sandforce, not Sheerforce, Rotom Mo, Aromatisse, Golisopod, Meowstic, Marini, Emolga, and Marshtomp. So, immediately you'll realise that this is a very top-heavy draft. Effectively, he's got like 7 decent Mons, and then 4, honestly, probably Mons that you bring once, maybe twice a season, at best. So it does kind of narrow down what we have to prep for. Not that I'm going to completely ignore the 4 Mons at the bottom, but honestly the top 7 are what my main focus is going on. I think Marini has a chance to turn up, but I don't think Meowstic, Emolga, and Marshtomp have a very good chance. I think that we have way better ways of dealing with Marshtomp, Emolga, and Meowstic than we do Marini. So yeah, I think really this just comes down to like 8 Mons that potentially could turn up. The Aegislash is a real big problem for our team. We don't necessarily have the greatest switch-ins. It is able to 2-hit KO things like Zygarde, Tapu Fini, Galarian Slowking gets blown back by it, so does Decidueye. Yeah, basically our entire team kind of gets rocked by Hydreigon, by Aegislash. So we really need to put a lot of prep into that. Hydreigon has an alright matchup. I think if he gets rid of Tapu Fini, its matchup becomes a lot better. Like, drastically better, because Tapu Fini switches in on it 10 times out of 10, easiest switching in my life. But there's certainly sets from Hydreigon that could potentially pose a problem to Tapu Fini. In my mind, immediately, I'm thinking of like a Nasty Plot Roselli Berry set with Belch. That could be absolute fire, firstly, and also it will just blow my Tapu Fini literally out of the water, pun intended. Terrakion, another thing that's a huge problem for our team. Dual Stabs plus Earthquake, honestly, 2-hit KO pretty much everything on my team. Zygarde can take Stone Edge, it can take Earthquake, it can't take close combat that well unless we're fully physically defensive. Terrakion dies to everything. Heatran dies to everything. I'm messing up all the Pokemon names today. Tapu Fini gets 2-hit KO by Stone Edge and by Poison Jab should he try to run that set. Galarian Slowking gets 2-hit KO'd by Stone Edge and Earthquake. Decidueye 2-hit KO by Stone Edge, you get the gist. It literally just ruins our entire team, especially our lower tier Mons like Lycanroc, Pangoro, Rotom, Greedent are all weak to its stabs, Pinsir as well, and then Marwile is weak to the Earthquake. So honestly, Terrakion, big problem in this matchup. Landorus is pretty decent. I think it's probably going to be special or mixed. I think Knockoff has a good place in this game. I think U-Turn is nice for pivoting, but he does also kind of want the Sludge Wave. I think he wants Earth Power over Earthquake, just to be able to deal more damage to the Zygarde, because otherwise he really doesn't do much damage to Zygarde at all. So Landorus I definitely see coming. It's a big threat for our team. I think this is realistically his only Scarf option as well, because Hydreigon, if it's Scarfed, it's sure it's going to run U-Turn, but it's never going to do anything to Tapu Fini, so I think he's going to have to run like some kind of setup variant to be able to beat Tapu Fini with Hydreigon, or be able to at least do a good amount of damage to wear it down. Rotom Mo I think is 100% coming, because I have Tapu Fini. It's not the worst switching to Zygarde as well, but it's mainly just a Tapu Fini switching. However, that is his electric and his grass type in one. So really, that's the only thing on his team that's super effective with its stabs against Tapu Fini. The only other thing being like a Mulga. I'm not too worried about a Mulga, not going to lie. And Marini, which isn't going to do too much damage because its attack stats just don't exist. So realistically, this is the only way of hitting me super effectively with a stab move. Aromatisse, I think, is almost a lock to come in as well. It is walled by Heatran, but at the same time, it does do a really good job of checking things like Zygarde, Tapu Fini, Pangoro as well on my team. So I think definitely a chance Aromatisse comes along. Gliscopod, I think, has a slightly worse chance than Aromatisse, just because for the most part it wants to use physical moves and it checks Zygarde, but it doesn't necessarily beat Zygarde 1v1. There's like subcoil sets and stuff will be able to beat it 1v1, unless he brings like some kind of tech, like he brings, I don't know, Ice Beam or I don't know, Toxic maybe, to be able to try and wear down Zygarde. I don't see really too much that Gliscopod can necessarily do. Meowstic will probably just be screens if it turns up. Marini will be specially defensive to deal with Tapu Fini, and I guess to an extent, Galarian Slowking. Emolga's not coming, and Marshtomp would be physically defensive to deal with Zygarde. So, looking at this, definitely think Aegislash, Hydreigon, Terrakion, Landorus, and Rotom are coming. And then it's between Aromatisse and Gliscopod for that last spot. Maybe Marini. I think we have got some prep for Marini just in case. But yeah, his team is super, super scary. Let's get into our team. First up, we have got our Zygarde with the Choice Band, as we have done so many times this season. With a careful nature, we're actually very specially defensive. This is to not be 2-hit KO'd by Aromatisse Moonblast, and we are able to 3-hit KO with 1,000 Arrows. I know it can Wish, but in case he thinks that he can just pick up a 2-hit KO easily with Aromatisse, we have got like a ton of investment into special defense. We're still able to pick up like standard KOs that we need to. With our moveset being Scale Shot, 1,000 Arrows, Extreme Speed, and Toxic. 1,000 Arrows will knock out Aegislash, it will knock out Terrakion, which is all it really needs to do. It will knock out Marini as well for what it's worth. Scale Shot will take down the Hydreigon as long as we get 3 hits. It also do a really good amount to Landorus as well. I can't remember if it's I think 4 hits from Scale Shot is able to knock out Landorus. Then Extreme Speed is just really nice because he does have quite a few things that can boost their speed. Aegislash, obviously we're not going to hit with Extreme Speed, but that can autotomize. You've got Hydreigon with potential Dragon Dance. You've got Terrakion with Rock Polish, Landorus Rock Polish. So there's a few things that you can definitely set up as speed, and there's a few things that once they set up with their speed, it's going to be really difficult for me to be able to deal with. But we've also got Toxic, that is for the Aromatisse and the Gliscopod. If we're able to Toxic the Aromatisse, I don't think it'll be Hill Bell this week, just because we do have the Misty terrain. So the chances of him running Hill Bell when he doesn't necessarily expect status moves as much, I think is probably a little bit more slim. He might also prepare for it because it's not the first time that I've run Toxic on a Mon just to Toxic something in particular on an enemy team. But if he brings Hill Bell, he brings Hill Bell. It does waste a turn, and he has to effectively not attack something, so I'm kind of fine with that. 1,000 Arrows, like I said, is a 3-hit KO. If we're able to get a Toxic off and he doesn't have Hill Bell, then we are going to be able to wear it down and end up 1v1ing it later in the game. Gliscopod as well is also really nice for that, because Gliscopod has no reliable recovery, so unless it's like a Rest Talk set or Resto Chesto, there's no way that he's going to be able to 1v1 us in the end. Next up, we have got our Greedent. Once again, we're bringing Greedent. This thing is absolute like god Pokemon on this team. It's so good. We're running the Chuffleberry this week with an Adamant Nature, but we are very, very bulky. Don't let the Adamant Nature fool you. We are running a lot in our defenses. This is to be able to deal with things like the Aegislash and the Terrakion. We can actually take a close combat from Banded Terrakion with our Chuffleberry, which is kind of nuts. We're also able to kind of take on a special Landorus pretty well, and of course Hydreigon. As long as it's not running like Superpower or Focus Blast, we're able to consistently bring it in against that. We are obviously not Citrus this week, so we've got to be careful about losing health, but mainly this is here for the Aegislash. We have Soul's Dance on this set, but I don't actually imagine myself clicking it at any point. I think we've got Body Slam, Earthquake, and Ice Fang that we'll be clicking much more frequently. He does have the ability to kind of pivot around Hydreigon, Aegislash, and Landorus, Rotom Mow. to be able to avoid like body slams and earthquakes. But at the same time, Earthquake will one-shot an Aegislash if it has attacked me first with close combat. I think even if it doesn't get the defense drops, if it is for whatever reason White Herb, then we are still able to pick up the KO with Earthquake when it's in Blade form. We are guaranteed slower as well, so he is going to be in Blade form if he decides to attack us. So there's no chance of us being quicker, put it that way. So he's always going to be in Blade form if we are clicking Earthquake against an Aegislash. Unless he clicks King Shield, of course. Outside of that, Ice Fang is nice for the Landorus, it's nice for the Hydreigon, it's also nice for the Rotom Mow. It does have a little bit of an ice weakness going on there, but it's not necessarily that bad. Body Slam is just nice for paralysis, if we're able to paralyze things like the Aromatisse. It may end up getting paralyzed on a critical turn. Paralyzing Terrakion and Landorus and even Hydreigon is going to be really nice, but certainly he has an ability to pivot around quite easily, but at the same time, we should be alright just kind of clicking buttons with Greedent to an extent. And eventually, he's probably going to click Close Combat with either his Terrakion or his Aegislash. That means we can click Earthquake on either of those, and we will be able to pick up the KO. So yeah, Greedent's role in this game is just to effectively do a good chunk of damage to something, and hopefully be able to knock out either Terrakion or Aegislash. Next up, we have got Gurdy, the Tapu Fini with the leftovers, running a Bold Nature, and it's not meant to be Telepathy, it's actually meant to be Misty Surge, but I don't think I have the time necessarily to regen this, so I don't think it's going to come into play too much, hopefully not. Draining Kiss, Stall Power, Calm Mind, and Taunt this set really just runs through his team. He doesn't have a whole lot for it. If the Aegislash goes down, he has no resist to the combination of Draining Kiss and Stall Power. Yeah, basically +2, Tapu Fini starts going in, and he has very few ways of stopping it, because I expect Rotom Mow will probably be more specially defensive to try and deal with this than like an offensive set, because an offensive set would actually be able to 2-hit KO, I think, with Leaf Storm, even if it gets +1. But a defensive set will not be able to, and at that point we can just keep clicking Calm Mind. Even at like +6, I don't think we can Oko Aegislash, just because we're going to be quicker unless he's like max speed. I think the max speed set can outspeed me, but I don't believe he's going to be running that. The Taunt is just kind of there for the Marini, because Marini can have Haze and I don't want to lose my stat boosts. Stall Power will then be able to like kill it quite easily in return, because it isn't as bulky as its evolution Toxapex is. But yeah, basically Tapu Fini, it has like 2 roles in this game, and if it can set up Calm Minds and Sweep, that is one role it can do. It also is a good switch into things like Hydreigon, it's a decent switch into Terrakion, it's a decent switch into Landorus, so it definitely has a role to play in this game. It just depends on like which one it's going to do. If we can pivot around with our other defensive mons around Hydreigon, Terrakion, and Landorus, then certainly Tapu Fini can be used as a sweeper later on in the game. Next up, we've got our Pangoro with the Choice Scarf with a Jolly Nature and Scrappy ability. Close Combat, Knock Off, Thunder Punch, and Poison Jab. Honestly, all we need this week is Close Combat and probably Poison Jab, I would say, for the Aromatisse. Close Combat hits the Aegislash, the Hydreigon, Terrakion, all for super effective damage. These like 3 top mons all die to a Close Combat. Knock Off is really good for Landorus, it's nice for knocking off Rotom Mow's item. Obviously nice for knocking off any item on any of his mons. We do have to watch out for the Terrakion. If Terrakion gets a Justified boost, we are in trouble. So we won't be clicking Knock Off until that Terrakion is dead. We'll probably just click Close Combat, because honestly Close Combat is doing like tons of damage. It's doing like 30% to Aromatisse. So Poison Jab really is just there for his lower tier things like Golisopod for the Marini. Honestly, that's about it. Knock Off is nice for his 2 Eviolite users as well. So Pangoro really is looking like a really nice late game kind of cleaner. And with the speed investment I got, we are able to outspeed his entire team with no boosting item. So effectively, if he runs no Choice Scarfers, then Pangoro is able to outspeed his entire team, which is really, really nice. So we just need to scout out for what kind of items things have got. Like I said, I think Landorus is its only realistic Choice Scarf option, and even then I don't think it's going to be Choice Scarf. I think it's probably going to be like Life Orb, maybe Expert Belt. Depends if he wants to take out Recoil or not. Then we got our Decidueye, and I actually went between 2 sets on our Decidueye, and I ended up opting for a second Choice Scarfer on this team with an Adamant Nature. I think in the end, I just went with the same EVs as the original set I had. So, but I just boosted the speed, so I'm outspeeding his entire team again. I think even the speed looks wrong. I think we probably have the wrong speed on this, but oh well, we'll go with it, because it should still outspeed his entire team outside of maybe Terrakion. I think is probably the one thing that I'm looking at that it won't speed with the Choice Scarf. But with an Adamant Nature, we're actually doing quite a good amount of damage. We are fairly bulky as well. Leaf Blade, Poltergeist, Skitter Smack, and U-Turn. Running Double Bug this week. Skitter Smack is so I can stay in against the Hydreigon if I need to, and just click it twice with the special attack drop. It's actually really nice for kind of spamming against his team, because the majority of the things that I think he's bringing are going to be special. Assuming the Landorus and the Aegislash will be special as well. Potentially Aegislash will be physical, so it doesn't make any difference, but originally I had a Coldberry Swords Dance set that I kind of wanted to bring, but decided actually it wasn't going to be worth it, because Hydreigon most likely going to outspeed me, and even after the Colbur, I think Skitter Smack wasn't killing. Sorry, after the Swords Dance, Skitter Smack wasn't killing, so it wasn't necessarily in my best interest to run that set. So I decided to go with a Scarf set with U-Turn. It was kind of like a bit of a panic decision at the end, but I did decide that, you know, it has a pretty good matchup against his team. So Poltergeist hits the Aegislash, it hits things like the Rotom, the Landorus, the Aromatisse, the Glycopod, all for neutral damage, and it is a powerful move, so it's doing a good amount of damage. Leaf Blade is almost entirely just there for the Terrakion. I guess the Marshtomp, if he brings the Marshtomp, probably not taking a Leaf Blade particularly well. And yeah, Skid Smack is there for the Rotom Mow, it's there for the Hydreigon, and U-Turn is just for initiative. Honestly, I don't think this is going to be like any kind of cleaner or anything like that. It's just going to be there to keep momentum. And lastly, we've got our Galarian Slowking with the Shucker Berry. Honestly, not the greatest matchup, but I'm going to bring it anyway, because it has a role to play in this game with the Shucker Berry. We are invested to be able to take on the Terrakion. Okay. I won't say well, because nothing on my team actually takes on the Terrakion well, but it takes it on okay. We're going back to Decidueye apparently. Regeneration ability with Bold, of course. Sludge Bomb, Future Sight, Shadow Ball, and Ice Beam. Yeah, we're able to take on his Terrakion relatively well. If he is Life Orb Jolly, we are able to take 2 Stone Edges pretty well. There is a roll to 2-hit KO us, but we should be okay. I was going back and forth about Black Sludge or not, but I thought there's a strong chance that he runs Earthquake on Terrakion. He's obviously going to have Earth Power or Earthquake on Landorus. Probably going to have Earth Power on his Hydreigon as well for the Heatran. He could also run Focus Blast for the Heatran and for the Greedent, for example, but in fact that makes more sense than Earth Power, because I got Lycanroc and Pangoro that it hits. But yeah, it could also be Earth Power for the Marwell. That's another option that it could be. So yeah, there's quite a few ground moves that I think it potentially is going to click. And having a Shucker Berry there means that we are able to stay in against Terrakion, we're able to stay in against Landorus. If like, there's no chance that he switches out, I don't think, with Landorus. There's a strong chance that he stays in, and we can just click Ice Beam. Hydreigon isn't able to OHKO us by any means with a Dark Pulse, unless it's Choice Specs. I think it's got to be Modest Specs as well, to be able to guarantee a knockout on us. Aegislash, depending on his set, if he's Choice Band or Choice Specs, he will be able to knock us out. But at the same time, if he isn't Choice Locked, which I don't expect him to be, then we are able to live any one hit. So despite the fact that it looks like he's got a terrible matchup on paper, it's actually really nice. And more so, it's really nice for his lower tier things, because if you take out his top 4 of Aegislash, Hydreigon, Terrakion, and Landorus, he really doesn't beat it at all. Rotom Mow can't really touch it, Aromatisse can't touch it, Glycopod really going to struggle to be able to break it, and the combination of Sludge Bomb plus Future Sight, it's going to be causing some problems. Meowstic doesn't really do any damage to it. Marini literally can't do any damage. Emolga does nothing, and Marshtomp, I don't think he's even strong enough to 2-hit KO with Earthquake, and we are able to like Sludge Bomb it, get a poison, we can Future Sight, all that sort of stuff. So that's going to be the team this week. It's a little bit different because we do have a matchup against a very offensive team, so I felt like I had to bring a little bit of like a few interesting sets, and the damage reducing berries I think is going to come in really clutch. So yeah, that's going to be the team, and I will see you guys in the battle. Okay, so here we are again, part 2. We got to lead off with Waternoose. I might not include the first part, but I may have accidentally only submitted 5 mons. I definitely submitted only 5 mons, and I panicked. I literally I got to like the timer and just pressed enter, and I only had 5 months selected. So yeah, that's big yikes from me, especially because I just kind of accidentally joined this guy for far longer than I should have. I think he's going to Volt Switch out on his first turn because we are leading the same things. I kind of want to just throw off a Future Sight. I could also just go for a Shadow Ball. Let's have a quick look at the teams. I don't have a great switch in at all to Aegislash. Like, that's my biggest issue. So I want to go for a Shadow Ball potentially just to catch that on the switch in. I could also just throw off a Future Sight. That's also a possibility. Yeah, I'm going to throw off a Future Sight, and then I'm going to have to try and scout what this Aegislash can do. Volt Switch to be expected. Let's check that for damage to 161. That's doing 20%. I want to say that is not very offensive at all. We'll check whilst this turn's going. It does go to the Aegi. I could have just clicked the Shadow Ball, but Volt Switch, that's not very invested at all. And I think I just want to go out into my Greedent, because I don't think he's clicking Close Combat by any means on this turn. He could click something like Autotomize, which would be terrifying, because I have very few ways to actually be able to beat that set. Against Aegislash, if we say it's just like Adamant, max attack, with the Truffle Berry we should be fine unless he's like Choice Banded. And if he's Choice Banded, then he's got to click it now. And I'll be able to scout that, and I can go back into my Slowking if if I see a Choice Band. But we should be fine, like, as long as he's in play form. Actually, he swaps out into Vancouver, which is the Hydreigon. Okay, if I click Ice Beam there, hell of a play. But I was never going to do that. So we get our Greedent in. The threat is here. And I don't really have anything that wants to... I don't want to take this hit, particularly. So I'm just going to go out into my Tapu Fini, which is pretty obvious. I think it's definitely obvious, but this means that the Hydreigon will take the Future Sight, and if he wants to take a Future Sight, then he has to stay in. Yeah, we can kind of scout for damage here. He just goes to U-turn, so something else is going to have to take that Future Sight damage. Probably the Aegislash, if I had to guess. I want to say that was Choice Scarf as well. Like, I don't see any reason why that's not Choice Scarf. Which kind of makes me think that I should have gone with my original option. So he goes out into this, and it's going to take a Future Sight, which is going to do about half, unless it's especially defensive. Yeah, Spadef. Because it's Spadef, how much do I care about this thing? Probably enough, I would say. Probably enough to not want to stay in against it. Yeah, we're not really doing a lot of damage at all. I can go back into... my Slowking. I could also go into... Yeah, I'm just going to go Slowking. He's probably going to Volt Switch. Seems very likely he's going to Volt Switch, but... Slowking is actually pretty decent against this entire team. And I kind of hope to bait in the Landorus early. He is just going to Volt Switch. And I expect the Aegislash will probably come in again. But who knows what that Aegislash set is. I've shown Greedent to be my switch-in. Yeah, he just goes back into the Aegi. Sorry, not Aegi, that's the... that is this. I think he's probably going to U-turn again. But I'm not sure if I want to predict him to do that. How much is Hydreigon doing to this? If it is Choice Scarf, is there an option? Yeah, it's Choice Scarf. Well, it's not knocking me out. And I can go for an Ice Beam. I'm not sure if that's giving me too much to play with. I could also just go into Greedent as middle ground. He could very well Dark Pulse. I think I'm just going to stay in. I'm going to stay in an Ice Beam. I think it's his Choice Scarf. I don't think it's Choice Specs. He's just going to U-turn. Which is fine by me. Is that... How much is U-turn doing? 10%? I was at 162 beforehand. I was at 81. It goes into Jon Snow, which is the Aegislash. That's fine. I'll go into my Greedent again. She's going to throw off an Ice Beam. Obviously we're showing off that we have it, but... And he is leftovers, that's good to know. Yeah, it's good to know. One down to 132, is that physical? That looks like it's physical, Hydreigon. Just 15%. If Jolly... Like, yeah, it's physical, so... Gotta keep an eye out for that. And I'm just gonna go to my Greedent again. Like, I showed this to be my switch-in, which is fine. Because it means that I can possibly play around that later, switching into my Zygarde or something instead. But this may be like a sort of sub-toxic sort of set. I'm not sure. I don't know what kind of AG this is. But we'll see. I've got like the worst choice of drink. Okay, you can go for like an Iron Head. He goes for Shadow Claw. Cool. That's absolutely fine by me. I can actually throw off a Body Slam here. Do I throw off a Body Slam? Like, guaranteed that I'm slower. I mean, that would be a very ballsy play. That would be a ballsy play. If he goes into Hydra, I'm not that worried. So yeah, I'm just going to click Earthquake. If he wants to go into Rotom, he can go into Rotom. Potentially should have made a prediction there, but he goes into Vancouver, yeah, he does go into the Hydra. That's fine by me. How much is a physical Hydreigon doing to me? He's never clicking Outrage. Crunch. It's not doing all that much. I would quite like to just Body Slam to get this damage off. He can go for Superpower if he wants to. Because we are the Choppleberry, so we don't care too much about that. Just going to U-turn again. Okay, that was a crit. I was about to say, that did a lot of damage. That did way more than it should. I've got to remember that I'm not Citrus, so I can't keep taking hits so easily from this. It goes back out into... Okay. I'm definitely expecting this to be with close combat. I could just Earthquake again. Like, he is slowly pivoting around my team. But I think at some point he's just going to close combat. Yeah, I think he close combats here. And we should be able to take out his Aegislash. Close combat, we're going to use a Chopple. I believe this puts us back up to full health as well. Does it work after? Does Cheek Pouch not work with it? I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs. There we go. There's a Cheek Pouch. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure the Cheek Pouch works like that. And this should knock it out unless it's like max HP. Yeah, we just knock it out. Awesome. Okay, Greedent putting in his finest as always. As expected of Greedent nowadays. Just taking out the Aegislash. That's really, really nice because I didn't have all that much to deal with it at all. So he then goes out into Terrakion. Speaking of things that I don't have much to deal with. Terrakion is a gigantic threat to my team. Does a close combat... Well, I mean, this is a stupid question, yes, I know. What are the odds of me actually taking this? 0. Literally 0. Okay. I'm tempted just to go into my Slowking as a pivot. I think I go Slowking as my pivot. And we can actually throw off 3 Ice Beams at this point. Which is just fantastic. I'm actually kind of surprised they brought Aegislash against Heatran Zygarde. Pangoro as well. But in the end it was Greedent who took him down. He can definitely predict this and go for a Swords Dance. And after a Swords Dance things get a little spicy, not gonna lie. He just close combats, that's fine by me. Do we see a Life Orb? I want to say that's Life Orb by that damage. I want to say that is Life Orb by that damage, but he doesn't know what my moveset is. I think I can just throw off a Future Sight again. I think Future Sight is free. I don't think he's going to want to click Earthquake just to... because it shouldn't knock me out. I think it does like 66 min or something like that, or 66 max. I can't remember the exact calc. But it shouldn't be able to knock me out. He does go for the Earthquake, okay. Which is fine because we are Shaka, so we should take this. He's going to take another round of Life Orb. I definitely want to keep this around because it's actually pretty useful in this game. And kind of wishing I had Psyshock because we were just taking out a Terrakion at this point. But it is what it is. I do want to go into my Zygarde, I think. You want to go Zygarde? I could also go into my Decidueye. What else has he got hanging around at the moment? He has still got the Golisopod. He has still got Golisopod. I think I could probably go into Zygarde. I mean, Life Orb is going to hurt. But I think he goes for Earthquake here. He hasn't shown Stone Edge yet, but he's bound to have Stone Edge. Yeah, I'm going to go into my Decidueye. It's a bit of an aggressive play. I don't think Decidueye is necessary in this game anymore. If he goes for Stone Edge, that's a good play. He does go Stone Edge, and he misses. I'm sorry, man. That was a good play. Yeah, he deserved to be rewarded for that. But unfortunately, he isn't going to get the luck here. I mean, I could just Leaf Blade. What's the downside to Leaf Blading? I don't think there's too much downside to Leaf Blading here. He may get into his Rotom, but that's kind of fine with me. I guess only a click I should have clicked U-turn. U-turn was pretty free there. That's my bad. It still does a decent amount of damage. I should 100% have gone for the U-turn. But it is what it is. He doesn't know what kind of set I am, but do I want to... I mean, I'm just going to go into my Tapu Fini at this point. We can take on his team fairly well with it. And I'm pretty sure this is like Dragon Dance, if I had to make a guess. Okay, it goes Crunch, so that actually gives us a free turn, which is beautiful. I love that. And he's Leftovers. Okay. Good to know, good to know. Because obviously we are also Leftovers. I mean, what does he really have to do too much damage to us after a Carmine? I mean, this could be Taunt. Could very well be Taunt. I'm going for a Carmine anyway. As in, maybe a bit early, because I know his Tapu is Tapu. He goes into the Rotom, which is kind of to be expected. I'm going to Carmine, and I think at +1 I should be kind of okay to just click the Draining Kiss. I'm at +1 there, +1. Draining Kiss getting me a bit of health back. Leaf Storm should not 2-hit KO us. In fact, if we get to +2, +2 we're looking kind of nice. I think I'm going for a second Carmine. I have got a bit of speed. He does outspeed me, that's unfortunate. But this shouldn't... yeah, this shouldn't do much at all. And now we can just Draining Kiss on the next turn. Maybe a little greedy. Maybe should have just gone for Draining Kiss there, but... unfortunately he does outspeed me, so... he has a good amount of speed investment himself. And we can just Draining Kiss on this turn. It's not going to do a massive amount of damage, but... at this point, Leaf Storm is also doing not a lot of damage. So yeah, I'm just going to quick Draining Kiss, get some health back. Now he hasn't got the Aegislash, there's actually nothing to resist by my set, which is beautiful. I don't think he has any other play than to try and crit me here. And he's not going to get on that turn at least. We should get a little bit of health back. Yeah, just going to Draining Kiss. Like, there's no point in getting too greedy. I think at +2, we're in a pretty good spot. We're in a pretty good spot. I think that doesn't look like it's knocking it out from here because it is especially defensive. But in fact, it may just be max HP, max speed, something along those lines. But I can just click Draining Kiss again. Steel Power wouldn't take it out from here, so it's not worth clicking that. So he goes for the Volt Switch. That is absolutely his best play. It's absolutely his best play. But I don't know what he goes out into here. I was kind of expecting like some nasty plot Roselli Berry Belch Hydreigon, which would be absolutely insane, but I would have absolutely loved it. I'm going to assume this is going to die. I am sure this is dead. I am sure this is going to die. Yes, yes it does. I am absolutely shook that died. But that's really nice. That's another thing that's a problem to my team down. I think at this point, there's a chance that Feeney can still just win this. There is a chance that Feeney has got it all by herself. Because we're at +2, he would have to crit me with Leaf Storm to be able to win. He goes back out into it. Absolutely makes sense. His best play is to try and crit. I understand 100% that his best play is to crit. He's going to Leaf Storm again. Now it's not going to crit me, so we should get back up to a roughly full health. Should be able to get to roughly full health and be back in a great spot. Yeah, that's... Again, like I say, he kind of just has to crit me. It's a little bit like last week's battle with Christian, where Tapu Fini's going to sit here, and he has to crit me to win. I don't know how much health I have to be at for Terrakion to be able to knock us out. There's a few things on his team that should be able to do some good damage. That's not a crit either, so that's really nice for us, and this one should take it out. I believe this one just takes it out. Could narrowly miss out on a KO. No, it doesn't. Okay, so Tapu Fini scores another knockout. Is that a good amount of health as well? So even if he's adamant, Stone Edge with a crit to 88. What health am I on? 167. I'm on 94, so even a crit Stone Edge at this point doesn't knock me out. He can weaken me with a plethora of things on his team. He can definitely weaken me, but getting rid of Terrakion pretty much means that Slowking can win. Getting rid of Golisopod means that Zygarde can win. So goes into Lucifer, which is the... That's a Landorus. How much is... I mean, Lando's going to do a good amount of damage to us still. Wall Breaker. Let's just quickly check this. Sand Force. About Sludge. Sludge Wave. It's doing a good amount of damage. Definitely doing a good amount of damage, but I'm just going to go for another Draining Kiss. He goes for the knockoff. That's a little bit annoying. He is a physical one from the looks of it, though. This should do roughly half. Probably just under. Yeah, just under half. I mean, I could have stalled power on that turn. Maybe that was a better play. I mean, I can stall power on this turn. I'm going to go for that. It's going to go for the Sludge Wave. To be expected. But it's going to do a good amount of damage. Puts me at 131. Which I think does put me in crit range of Stone Edge. We are able to take out his Landorus. Tapu Fini picking up his third kill of the week. Fini is going for that MVP race. She has seen Zapdos up there. She has seen Urshifu up there. She wants it. Draining Kiss, I believe, will take out Terrakion. I want to just double check that that's the case. Draining Kiss will not take out Terrakion, but Stall Power really should. Stall Power should. I think regardless, I think Draining Kiss is my play. Draining Kiss actually from that range might be able to. Poison Jab shouldn't have knocked me out. Yeah, we're good. No poison as well, and after that hit of Life Orb, this Draining Kiss should just knock it out. As it does. Tapu Fini claiming 4 this week. Fini absolutely going in against this man. And Golisopod, I think, does learn Poison Jab from memory. I think it does learn Poison Jab. But I have no idea what this thing's set is. I'm just going to Draining Kiss again. It should do about a third. Should be a 3-hit KO. So it should be able to get up to full. Or near enough full, I would have thought. Yeah, that's looking about right. And it has Drill Run, okay. That's a high crit chance, I think, but it doesn't necessarily matter. I think we're going to win this one 6-0. I think Tapu Fini is going to absolutely carry my ass to a 6-0. Yeah, once his Aegislash went down, that was pretty much game. Just because once Fini set up, it was pretty much over. So yeah, good game to Mario. There was a crit. It did not do much damage. And yeah, we're going to pick up a 6-0. This is the first time I've 6-0'd somebody on a Wi-Fi draft league, I think. So yeah, that's kind of nuts. Good game to Mario. Tapu Fini, 2 weeks in a row, has just gone absolutely absurd, absolutely bonkers. And yeah, we're able to pick up a nice, clean 6-0 win. So yeah, like the video if you did enjoy the... enjoy watching Tapu Fini just click buttons. Subscribe if you are enjoying the content. And I believe we face Zepsis? Yeah, that's definitely his name. You know what? I'm going to call him that from now on. No, we're facing okay, yeah. Okay, cool. We're facing Vepsis for our week 8 battle. So that's going to be a tough one. That's really going to be tough. Vepsis is an incredibly good battler. So yeah, looking forward to that one. And until next one, have a great day, guys. Peace.